Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the February session of the eLID series webinar. It's been a happy new month. Today is the first day of November, of February. I'm rushing to November. I don't know why I'm rushing to. Today is the first day of February. It's amazing to have you all here. Can you just put in the chat where you're joining from? Put in the chat where you're joining from. I'm joining from Milton Keynes in the UK. Tell me about where you're joining from. Happy New Month, Binnaz. York okay. Olara is joining from York in the UK. Welcome. Olama is joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Great, great, great. Let's have more people tell us where they're joining from. Binnaz is joining from Turkey, visiting your parents. Oh, amazing. That must be really great to be with them. Wow, welcome. Tebi Tokwe Babatunde is joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Amazing. Let's keep it going. Put in the chat where you're joining from. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Oyindamola Ojeri Ameato, aka Bekamola. I'm the founder of the eLearning Designers Hub, which is an initiative I created to help people in Africa adopt e-learning concepts in their L&D work. One of the things we do at the eLearning Designers Hub is to also help people build skills in instructional design and e-learning design. We have webinars, one of which we're having today, where we invite global leaders to come and speak to us about the trends in e-learning, in learning and design. I'm an e-learning specialist. I'm a board member of the eLearning network in the UK. I'm the events board director. I'm an e-learning coach and mentor, trainer, speaker. I have over 10 years experience adopting learning to generate revenue in different ways. And I've been involved in projects to help increase employees' performance, leading to customer satisfaction and revenue increase. And I'm currently also running my personal consultancy practice in learning and design. So welcome. That's me in a nutshell. I've explained to us the things we do in the e-learning series, in the eLearning Designers Hub. We have monthly webinars like what we're having today. We have workshops, conferences. We're going to have our first conference very soon this year, and we give tips on e-learning trends. Two things that we're also adding to what we do this year. One is to showcase e-learning designers, L&D professionals who have been able to do fantastic and great things, innovative things with e-learning technology. We're going to be starting that as a blog. And secondly, we're starting our mentoring and mentee program where we merge mentors to mentees to help them in their journey, in their career as e-learning designers. So I want us to put our LinkedIn profiles, our links in the chat to connect with one another. Let's connect with one another. And as we do that, I would like to introduce our speaker today, Binnaz Cubukcu. I hope I corrected it. I pronounced
That's
it
okay.
correctly.
Cubukcu, very, very close.
Oh, Cubukcu. Oh, that's nice. I never asked you. So pardon me for not pronouncing it well.
It is okay.
So Binnaz is a seasoned professional with 25 years career shaping competence development, change management, leadership across global stages. Throughout her diverse roles, she consistently aimed to ignite lasting engagement for internal audiences. An adept professional in learning design, that I know. She's a professional in learning design, facilitation, and leadership development. She's particularly attuned to the pivotal role that culture, values, and ethics have on enhancing business outcomes. Currently, Binnaz is pursuing a master's in AI, and she's more than just a learner. She's a guide in bringing knowledge and business needs to a meeting point. Her commitment to unleashing the power of AI on a strategic level is not just a passion, it's a mission. Imagine being inspired by someone who doesn't just keep pace with technology, but brings you into the conversation and helps you to lead the change. Binnaz collaborates with business leaders and talented people. She leverages her expertise to enhance their skills and their decision-making processes. She's your go-to expert for learning design and facilitation. She crafts experiences that go beyond traditional training, making learning a journey of discovery. Her modular programs include creative leadership, which will spark innovation, AI strategies, which will unravel the complexities and demystify the digital landscape. Leadership Launchpad for first managers will prepare emerging leaders for their future challenges. Join me right now as I welcome Binnaz. So over to you, Binnaz.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. Very happy to be here. Yeah, I mean, let's get started and see what we have today. Oh, could you enable me to share my slides,
yes, sure.
please?
Yes. Sorry, I thought I
No.
So what I'm going to do is to make you co-host. So
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. Yes. So let's do this. Bear with me. I'm guessing you're now seeing it full screen, right?
Yes, I can see it.
57%.
Yes.
Good. So this is where we're going to start. So when we look at quite recent reports created and research created by companies like Gartner, like McKinsey, like Deloitte, everyone is talking about AI and its impact on business. But this is quite learning and development specific. What is now popping up is that in the past year, in 2023, organizations who have started to scratch the surface of AI in learning and development have experienced 57% increase in their efficiency. What does that mean? It means that they are building learning solutions, they are using their processes, they are collaborating with other stakeholders in a different way, in a much efficient way. They've also experienced 52% increase in their productivity, which means that they are actually using AI in such a way that it gives them time back to focus on something better, and that increases their productivity levels. And this is an interesting one. So this is about complexity reduction, which means AI actually helps. They experienced that AI tools helped them to streamline their processes through automation. They have better quality, increased quality, and also less complexity in their processes, in the way they interact, and in the way they not only talk and collaborate with their stakeholders, but also they engage with the content and the content specialists. So today, that's what we're going to do this evening. We're going to look into how the power of AI can actually improve on instructional design. I got a really warm introduction already, but just a little bit brief information about myself is Oyindamoğlu also said, 25 years in a variety of learning and development roles, from learning design to facilitation to mentoring. I've been working 15 years in global leadership roles as on different levels of management, as country training manager, global learning design manager, and global coworker experience and conceptualization manager, ethics and integrity leader as well. I've been, meanwhile, doing this. I've been also supporting social enterprises in advising them about their business models, in their leadership approaches. And now I've stepped from a long-lasting corporate career into having my own business, where I offer my learning design services, facilitation services, but also strategic support when it comes to different topics, not only on learning and development, but also business models or leadership. So a bit about myself. Let's move into our topic of artificial intelligence. Very short descriptions just to warm us up into the topic. Well, when we look at artificial intelligence, everyone is talking and going crazy about artificial intelligence, and it's really nothing new. It's been in our lives for many, 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 many years, but now we can put a stamp on it, we can label it, we can describe it a little bit better than previously. So it is about machines displaying human-like capabilities. Very simple. It doesn't mean that they feel, they do, they empathize, but through what they do, rationalizing, reasoning, planning, we actually think that they have intelligence and they can actually mimic human-like capabilities. And instructional design. So AI is here, instructional design is here. It is, as you all know, and you've been practicing for many, many years, it is about looking at the needs of the business. It's about looking at the people within the business and what their capabilities and their skills and their knowledge and their experience, and see how these match. And when this is not a match and there are gaps or there are places that we need to strengthen, then instructional design is a way, one way, to help people get those competences, get those skills, and those business needs met. And instructional designers help run this process together with many stakeholders, but always for the people running the business. When we look at the collaboration or the connection between artificial intelligence and instructional design, as I said, it's not a new story. It's been in our lives for a very long time. 1995, I remember it. Someone came up and said, "Oh, online learning is the next best thing. Since sliced bread, we're all going to go online and we're going to do things." Well, it really happened overnight in a way. At least I was in Turkey then, and we started learning, and we had Flash and Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop and Flash, and we learned all these different technologies and solutions, and it was really like, whoa, so much potential. When we go a little bit come closer to today, 2000s, online learning changed its name a little bit. We started calling it e-learning. Someone also started introducing mobile learning in that time, and it became really popular. However, I would always challenge it. PowerPoint slides going online in learning management systems, is it really e-learning or just glorified PowerPoints, is still a question, because I still see them in practice, and I don't know how far we've come in truly creating online learning experiences. But that's just a little thing to ponder about. And in 2015, instructional design starts to set more to become more established. We've been talking about learning design, co-worker experience design, many different things, but it really took shape and molded into instructional design, and now we have that role, and we see that in many companies now. And today, of course, there are a lot of things that artificial intelligence can offer to instructional designers and the instructional design process to become leaner, meaner, and simpler, but also more powerful. And today we're going to look at it through a model's eyes, the model that we all know and we all appreciate, and that is the ADDIE model. But before we come to that, of course, just to wrap it up and see where we are now, of course, AI brings a lot of good things, but there are also not so good things, or it creates concerns in organizations, but also in individuals. There are a lot of things happening in the world of AI when it comes to principles, ethical considerations, technology, privacy, etc. So before we move into ADDIE, it is good that we just round it up and look at AI and what it brings to our lives in a good way, and where it creates still concerns, and there are things that we should still be aware of, because that's our responsibility to make sure that we don't skip those things as learning and development professionals. So looking at customization, looking at material creation, looking at working with generating insights, looking at masses of data and generating insights, looking at simplification and automation. These are brilliant pros, brilliant plus points of AI solutions. And when I say AI, it's not only AI, I use it as generic. There's Gen AI, machine learning, etc. I just cover it all through AI. And there are a little bit of a part, which is all about risks. Of course, without risks, life would be very boring. So there are legal risks that we need to be concerned of. There are intellectual property questions running around. There's privacy. There are a lot of concerns. There are ethical concerns about diversity, about biases. There are technical limitations. Is it open for everybody's work and interest? Is it going to be available for everyone or minorities? So there are a lot of conversations happening as we speak. It will never, ever replicate the human touch 100%. So that's also something that is positive for us in our existence. But also something that we need to keep on reminding ourselves, because I think there are a lot of people who start feeling very insecure about their roles and their contribution to the business, bringing value to the business. However, it is more about their experiences and the human touch and the knowledge, and everything that they know is still valid, and it's going to be valid for a very long time. The other part is accountability. We will touch on that a little bit later on as well. But right now in companies, no one is stepping in and saying we need to set a good governance. Everyone is trying to do and work with AI, but it's very scattered. There's no one AI strategy. That's very few companies have that. That means that the management teams are not aligned. Their departments are doing things differently, and it will create more problems and challenges in the long run than looking at AI landscape in one go and making collaborative decisions. That's why I put that accountability there. A lot of room for improvement and a big challenge to tackle for us. But let's go to ADDIE now. Before we start, are there any questions or are there any thoughts we should capture and then continue? Let me change my thing. Are we all good?
Yes, please.
Okay, we're good. Then let's continue. We will continue with exploring possibilities for AI through ADDIE model. You all know ADDIE model. Repetition is brilliant. So it's analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. And it is all about understanding the business needs, understanding the competence needs, looking at where they fit, where they don't fit, where the gaps are, where the needs are, and looking for how learning solutions can improve the co-worker experience, co-worker capabilities, which will create value in the business processes and operations in the long run. So when we look at each step, we're also going to look at where AI solutions can bring value and can strengthen that step. So the first step is the analysis step. It is about identifying the problem and the learning needs. So there are many, many different things that we do today. We go and talk to stakeholders. We look at the historical data about which previous learning solutions we offered to the co-workers, the co-worker demographics and their needs. We do a lot of questionnaires. We look at the trends. We look at inside our company, but we also look at outside of our company, what's happening, what's trending. Do we need new skills? World Economic Forum comes out with this the 10 amazing skills for 2024 list and this and that. Is that something for us? What do we do? So all that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. It needs a lot of concentration. It needs focus, but it also needs really, really good analysis of data, because the context that we sit in would be different than someone else in a different company, even a different department. So how can we look at that from our context and make our own judgment on that? So this part is quite important. It takes a lot of time and effort. So where we see the AI solutions bringing value are these points. There are more, but these are the most important ones that I picked up for our conversations today. So it is about data compilation. AI solutions can create and compile masses of data, not only internally, but externally as well. So that is a huge time saver. Where we need to be a little bit careful about is the reliability of data. Internal data might be more reliable compared to the outside data. So how are we going to control and make sure that the data that has been skimmed and compiled is okay? It is all about the context, and that's the human touch that we will always need. Our eyes, our ears, our experience, and our knowledge to verify that the compiled data is okay to move forward. That's one of the important parts. It can summarize key points. I'm guessing that we all use at least ChatGPT, and it creates things very quickly and summarizes key points. However, again, language-wise, one company's tone of voice can be very different than another company's. Summarizing key points is a very generic task for AI, and it will use the data, all the words, different wordings in this data, the data that it compiled, and summarize key points, which means that the tone of voice needs to be adjusted. But it, again, think about all the time that it saves us to do something else while it compiles the data, summarizes the key points for us. It can also compare and contrast the insights or the data and generate insights for us. And again, the filtering of insights, what is relevant for us, what is not, is again at our discretion. But what it saves us, again, I'm repeating this over and over again, it's important, the time and the effort it saves us to focus on verifying, contextualizing, making sure the tone of voice is right, is enormous. Yeah, so this is the analysis phase. When we go to the design phase starts with looking at the learning objectives. So we have the business objectives, we have the needs, and we bring them together to create learning objectives and look at the rough learning architecture. So how would the coworker experience be? How would the learning process look like? That's what I call the learning architecture. It's not the detailed part, but it's the flow of the experience that we are going to then detail. And that's where AI brings us other opportunities where working with learning objectives. Oh my God. I mean, I remember I had one project where I used to work in IKEA, so maybe I should start from that. I used to work in the franchisor of IKEA, the franchise organization, which meant that we would create and design learning solutions that will go internationally to all stores across the world for all different roles, all different tasks and needs. And there was this one program that we were going to renew, and it was a very politically hot potato because we wanted there were business needs from the franchisor point of view, and there were business needs from the retailer's perspective, and the retailers are so different from each other. There are big ones, small ones, more established ones, new ones, etc. We had to bring all of this together to create learning objectives. Then we had senior managers per topic area, and those senior managers that we were working together with had their own stakeholders across the organization. So we were talking about, I'm not exaggerating, we were talking about at least 85 people who had a say in the learning objectives. I mean, that was a nightmare. And I think it took us, if I'm not mistaken, a month and a half or maybe 2 months to write, to reiterate, to get okays from all these people. Now through AI, what I can do is that I can give all the different and relevant parameters to the AI solution and let it run the learning objectives. I can tidy it up, I can turn it around, I can really like make it tight and nice. And maybe that will give me easy 2 weeks, I will say even more, because I can then have better conversations rather than wording conversations with my stakeholders. We will look into content, then I can steer the conversations in a much, much better way, much stronger way. So that's the biggest potential that I can see. We are, as instructional designers or learning designers, we also sometimes play the project leader part. So I didn't want to miss out on that because we need some project support every now and then, but AI also can be our helper and create a nice project overview for us that we don't need to spend hours creating on Excel sheets or what have you, and spend valuable time on something that's structural than doing something creative and more useful like learning architecture and design. And of course, if we're stuck with creativity, AI also can give us some different aspects and elements and some ideas as well. When we look at the development, so we have the architecture and we're going to now weave in all the details. We are going to bring in the content. We have to look into the content, understand it, and see how it should manifest itself in the design. Is it an example? Is it an activity? What kind of an activity would it be? What do we want to get out of that? So all of this is the development phase, and the materials, of course, handouts, booklets, whatever you want, or whatever it will work for the audience. And AI, again, is brilliant because it can curate the content. It can even create it now with specific topics. If your company has a very specialist area and the content is very specific for the company, then maybe content curation needs to be done in-house with your subject matter experts. But even so, you already must have that content documented somewhere, either in manuals, either in operating procedures, etc. You can always feed that content into AI to extract what could be done and what could fit into your learning architecture and as design elements. And as pure content, because sometimes you have to have knowledge bits and pieces that you need to keep and then build over that different interactive elements. AI is brilliant in improving learning material quality. So in one of our networks, we were talking about Canva and how it actually lifts up the PowerPoint presentations with visuals, with different things. So there's this quality element, and it does it so fast. Yeah. Also, it saves us a lot of money in certain aspects. One thing that we need to be really, really careful about is the intellectual property rights and copyright. So we have to be sure that the images we create, or we ask AI to create for us, the videos or the sounds we use, the music we use, are okay to use. Otherwise, we would be in, I don't think we will be in trouble, but it's an infringement one way or another. It can be found out, and as learning and development professionals, we should set the right example, good example, and to show that we have to discuss and think about all these concerns before we blindly go and use AI solutions. Again, creation of learning material, machine translations. I worked with machine translations for the past 5, 6 years. I mean, the improvement is phenomenal. When we started, it was dreadful, feeding in and training the models. It was really, really difficult, and we never got the hang of it. But in the past 2 years, it's just went like this, and it's on the curve. So machine translations is a fantastic support, cost saver, but also peace of mind. I mean, it helps international companies a lot. And of course, it gives personalized assessment options. That's more detailed, that's more towards personalizing learning experiences, which people love. And but if you have that strategy in your learning approach, in your learning strategy, then that's something also to look into, not only from a learning development part or HR department. It's actually a bigger discussion and conversation to take, because it will touch competence development, the learning paths, development paths, performance, etc. So it can be actually a brilliant conversation starter with the management team to look at AI solutions which will create personalized experiences across the coworker journey within the company that will support many, many other things as well. But here it's about, of course, our learning solutions and what we want to achieve. When we come to implementation, implementation is from piloting, from revising to really deploying the learning solution. There are many things. Of course, learning paths is one thing where AI can give us different options and personalize ideas about how to personalize, but also maybe do the personalization for us. Communication planning. Well, just like we're all project leaders, we are also sometimes communicators, and we have to do our communication plans, etc., on our own or with our small groups, small teams. So communication planning is something that AI can also help us with. Looking at engagement, it is not only about communication side of things, but it's also about really creating one-on-one experiences and connections, and how we can nudge people to engage with our offer and see what's happening and how they're engaging and what feedback they are giving us and what support do they need. If we look at that and through AI, then we can figure out, collect data, look at the insights that AI solutions will help us with, and offer the right support systems and solutions and development plans for our colleagues. When it comes to evaluation, again, a lot of different things that AI can provide us. It is about assessing the effectiveness and relevance of the learning solution. Sometimes designing a learning solution takes such a long time, it might lose its meaning along the way. So it's always important to evaluate it. Of course, we get instant feedback from participants when we run face-to-face trainings or online real-time trainings. But if we're using asynchronous learning solutions, then AI can actually help us collect the data, collect the feedback. And it's not only one way, it's both ways. So we can use a double loop learning model in an AI solution so that as an AI solution, so that somebody is doing an asynchronous learning, they have feedback, but they can also get feedback in their process and progress. It gives us reporting options, just like in the beginning, just like as we collected data and looked at the data. In evaluation, data will be generated. Then AI solutions can help us look at that generated data and see, okay, create different reports. I've spent many hours creating reports manually and this and that because one manager wants to see it this way and another manager wants to see it that way. Someone likes color purple, someone likes color pink. Well, AI can sort it out for us now, and we don't have to spend again hours spending our time on these kind of minor things. Progress tracking, it's not only about the progress of attendance and completion, that's from our perspective, or the feedback, it's also looking at the progress. Can a coworker look at their progress? Where are they in relation to their career development, in relation to their learning path, in relation to their roles, and they can also see where they are progressing towards, what their next steps could be. AI solutions can help us and the co-workers to look into that as well. And again, a part of the instant feedback part and enhanced reporting, there are improvement points and performance insights that AI tools can help us generate instantly, very quickly, and in high quality. Nevertheless, we always need our own eyes, our own heads, and our hearts, because we still need to bring in the reality to the table to make the adjustments, to look into how the context is represented and how the needs are captured in real life. So, wrapping it up, what does it all mean? Well, few points for us to think about and reflect on. Employees will always be our internal customers as instructional designers, as learning designers, as people working in learning and development. Regardless of the solutions we use, they need to connect with the people. They need to represent them. There needs to be something interesting, something relevant, something challenging for them. If they can't relate to whatever we create, it's useless. So relevance is key, needs are key. We can have the best AI solutions if we can't catch people where they are, forget it. It's meaningless. So always keep an eye on that. When we look at AI solutions, they're brilliant. I mean, as we have seen in different steps of ADDIE, they can take over a lot of mundane, a lot of technical details off our plates, administrative tasks off our plates, so that we have more time for creative thinking, for creation, for innovation, and for really focusing on what is necessary. They can never replace human touch. And that is also always good to know and be proud of, because we bring the nuances in learning, and that can never be replicated by AI. When we start having the conversations in using AI solutions or adopting AI solutions, we need to understand the different aspects in a strategic and logical way. As I said, there are a lot of pros. Also, there are a lot of cons with it. So how are we going to address these in the context of our company's needs, in our company's governance system first, and then take the next step in going and using or creating different solutions for ourselves? It goes for any other technical solution or IT solution. We've seen good examples as well as not so good examples in our lifetimes, when someone wakes up one morning and says, well, you know what, I use this at home and this is going to be fantastic at work. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work that way. So always look at the foundation, be the conversation starter in your company, is to say, can we look at the strategic level AI? What do we need? We need this. How can we make it cross-departmental? That's where you become the spider in the web. You know a lot of people because you work with them, because they're your stakeholders, because they are your subject matter experts. Use the power of these people to start these conversations, so you create an understanding of AI, the strategies, and then the solutions that will support those needs going forward. So that's actually, I'm repeating myself, but don't go blindly for AI just because you like it or just because someone else likes it. What is the meaning behind? What is it going to cater for? What is it going to be useful for? And a cross-departmental benefit is much better than anything else. So I get asked about, of course, all the different AI solutions, what works fine, what we have, and this and that. And if you go to LinkedIn, there are all these, well, I copied them also from LinkedIn because they're really good lists, different visuals, etc. But what I find useful is this website, www.thereisanaIforthat.com. It shows all the AI solutions that they can scrape that exists and caters for a need. And what I suggest is, again, be clear of the goal you're chasing. Look at your needs, you look at your processes, what do you want to do, and how AI can help you achieve that once you're clear with that. And maybe it's not an AI thing, maybe it's something else. So once you're clear that AI is the solution that will help you achieve your goals, then search for the right tools, the right AI solutions that will help you achieve that. It can be one of these on the list, you can find it somewhere else, or you may decide to create your own one, but it will be perfect because it will be fit for purpose. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. As I said, I'm opening and starting up my own company. I have two brands. Piper Russell, it looks at AI strategies. I'm just branding it. So I have the mailbox and I have my Instagram account, which looks at AI strategies for companies. Website is in progress. And I have the Business Confidant, where I offer mentorship and learning design and facilitation services. Thank you very much for listening to me. And now we can open it for questions and reflections. Let me stop sharing. Just give me a second. And we are back.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was an amazing session. I mean, great things that I've heard today. Does anyone have questions? That brings us to the question part of this session. Before I talk about my takeaway from the session. Okay. So while we wait for people to ask their questions, my questions will be, I know you have given us some websites that we can use. I'm wondering, how do people really know which website is good? Oh, okay, no, that's not the question. The question is, okay, these are AI websites, right? And then we've talked about the early stage analysis, design, development, and all. How do people really know how to put in their prompts for the different stages? I mean, what advice do you have for people when it comes to putting in your prompts asking questions to get the best out of AI.
Yeah, it's like investigator work. So the clearer you are with the prompts, the better conversations you will have with the AI solution. So you have to be very transparent, you have to be very clear, and you have to dig deep. And that's where your understanding of the business needs, your understanding of your context of the
Yeah.
company, your understanding of the learning needs is extremely important, because then you can verbalize and put it in the chat, in now I say chat GPT, but whatever solution you have, the right prompts. You can start with a generic one, it's okay, but it's like asking the 5 whys, you have to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, so that you generate the right answers, or good answers, qualified answers, I would say. There's no right or wrong, but it's qualified.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I mean, I've also attended some AI workshops, and
Yes.
usually when you're dealing with AI, it's got to be like conversational. You want to be as conversational as possible. You want to talk as if you're talking to a real person. And then one other thing that I have noticed also in the use of AI is, don't put in too much information at a point. For example, you want to find out about 8 different things, and you just put all those 8 things in one prompt. ChatGPT has a tendency to just pick the first 3 and give you more information about the first 3 sentences, and then the rest gets to decrease. So you want to put in information one step after the other. Wow, amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, being specific is very important. The
Yeah.
more specific you can be, the again, more qualified things. It gets confused, which is normal, because there are different terms, and how the data it scours is yeah, crazy. And then it's also an amalgamation of what it reads, and then what it sort of tries to fit into what you say. So if you say, ask one question at a time and go deeper, then it's much better and
Yeah.
more to the point.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. I
Yeah.
think Olama, you're raising your hand. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. I know you like to speak.
All right. Thank you so much for this session. I mean, I am so overwhelmed with the whole explanations. It's as though you were talking to me directly, I must say, because everything you shared, I just kept writing down pointers by pointers. They don't entirely sound new, but the
Yeah.
fact that it had brought a lot more clarity to things, and it's a beautiful one, and I appreciate you being here once again. Okay, so this is my question. I come from the retail space. I work with the retail industry, and one of the challenges, I'm actually at a crossroad right now with handling the employees in terms of their trainings, harnessing the impact of the trainings for the participants. While I mean we are located in different parts of the state, okay,
Mhm.
we are global, we're a retail industry who also have presence in the global space, while we also take guidance from the international company. We, on our own, we try to make sure that whatever learning impact we have on the employees in Nigeria is something that is unique to us here. So
Yes.
the challenge has been for me balancing out when you're supposed to, because when I read through your last takeaways too, it also helped me have more understanding in knowing when you mentioned about being emotionally connected to the
Mm,
employees, no matter what it is we're doing, balancing out LMS form
mm,
of training vis-a-vis the physical touch.
mm,
So
mm.
it's been a challenge, I must tell you. And I have looked through, when I joined the company, I went through a lot of materials that has been used in the past, and I realized that the impact of the learning hasn't been so much because of the approach. So what I'm doing this time is trying as much as I can to change the approach. I mean, using the ADDIE model, which you mentioned, that is also very familiar with us and learning and development specialists. It has also helped a lot. But at the same time, you would you would realize that every category of employee, they are unique. Okay, they are specific, especially when it comes to their kind of roles in the retail space. So how you're able to make sure you're using LMS approach when it's required, and you're going to the locations physically to do the training when it is required. I don't know. I just want you to throw a bit more light on how to like balance that out.
Brilliant question. I mean, this is like the holy grail. I mean, having worked in retail for a very long time myself, it has been a big challenge. I have to agree with you. It's not easy, and there's not one way. There are always compromises, or there are always possibilities. I would like to chase the possibilities. And again, it depends on your company and your corporate culture. Now, I worked in retail space where being together is one of the values. So it was very easy for us to create face-to-face sessions. But when COVID hit and we had some e-learnings and online learning models, and we introduced everything, and then it became a little bit blended, but then it moved. With COVID, everything moved to online. But now, coming out of that, what's happening is brilliant, because people are asking for face-to-face. So now there's like a backward or a forward look on what to design for which topics that would be meaningful to be together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if you're doing health and safety regulations, you can do it online. But if you're doing a culture workshop or values or certain selling techniques that are going to catch the customers of Nigeria, and you're going to increase your sales, maybe that's a decision to go for face-to-face, and perhaps support it with some online learning as well. So it's always that finding that balance and where the sweet spot is, and where the store managers, I would say, would agree to let their people attend a face-to-face training, because they also sometimes think it's too costly and it's too time consuming. So it's just having that feeling, and AI can never ever replace that feeling from us. So
Very
good
true.
luck.
I quite agree with you. I just needed to be sure. I mean, I could say
Yeah.
some words were on track because
Yes.
we just came up with a brand repositioning. So part of the strategy
Perfect.
is to go there physically to like evangelize. So I'm undergoing that training now on the brand repositioning. So the whole essence will be, at the end of the day, we go to all the locations, and like you're preaching the gospel to them,
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
sure that they've gotten it in. So while you're sharing something else on LMS, they already have an overview firsthand on what it is they expect in terms of corporate culture and value. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
You're very welcome. You're on the right track. Go for it.
All right.
Wow, that was a good question. Okay, we're almost getting to the end of the meeting. There's something that I like to do when we come for this kind of when we have webinar like this, to have a reflective practice in which we think about what we have learned today. What exactly have you learned from it? And based on what you have learned today, what are you going to do afterwards? Our time is far spent. I'm trying to see if we can do that. So it's called the Raphael reflective model. So the first thing we'll do is, let's think about what we have learned today. Just ask yourself, what did I learn today? What really stuck to you? Maybe your first two takeaways, your first three takeaways. Let's put in the chat. Let's do this quickly. What did you learn today? And what was positive to you about, what you have learned today? What feeling came up for you as you have learned, as you have listened to Binnaz today? Even if it's just one thing, let's put in the chat. I'm going to put my own. Okay. I see. Great. So Olama says, understanding the pros and cons of AI. Great. For me, one thing that really stood out to me is that I can be forefront in the adoption of AI in my organization, while everybody is being skeptical and not being sure of whether they should adopt it or not. I want to be the one that will do research about the best way I can use it, that it can bring value to my organization. I want to champion that and use it and let them see the results. So for Larry said, I have learned the usefulness of AI in my field. Great, great, great. So based on what we have learned today, based on all that, so what would you say? Okay, we're still on the same slide. So what? That means, what does this tell you or teach you, imply about your learning? For example, Larry said he has learned the usefulness of AI. So what do you think you can do differently based on the usefulness of AI that you have learned? Can you put in the chat? What is your new understanding of your situation? I mean, based on what you have learned about AI now, how, what does it tell you about your situation? I think I've actually said my own. I can be the forefront. It shows to me that I can actually, I need to do more research. I need to learn more, probably attend more webinars or learn more skills. Another thing for me is maybe it makes me to see that there's more I need to know. I've seen today now that I have websites that I can go to use for my work. It makes me to see that there's so much I need to learn that I don't really know. While I wait for that, we can combine this next one with the one that, okay. So Lama said, I will automate some processes with the use of AI. Fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic. That's a good one. So the
It is
last
also
thing,
something, maybe I want to add something.
okay.
It is also, as people working in learning and development, we are a little bit OCD. So we want to know everything and we want to learn everything and we want to be perfect. Yeah. In AI, forget about that.
Yeah.
Because once we learn something, it's already changed. So we have to relearn, to be very flexible, to be curious, and maybe to start the conversation in this curiosity zone in the company and to learn together, because we're brilliant facilitators. Why don't we use our facilitation powers to facilitate conversations so that we create this curious environment in the organization to learn more about AI? Otherwise, you're taking too much on yourselves.
True.
You're not alone. Bring people around.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. I hope we are listening. So the next thing is, now what? And what she just said, honestly, I think is a good way to wrap up.
Yeah.
If we haven't been using much of AI, you want to I like the idea that Olama just brought it, that she'll automate some processes with the use of AI. That is good. But how much can you do on your own? So a good starting point really is to, like she said, facilitate. If you are part of the learning department, probably leading a unit, you can come up with a facilitation in which people are talking about AI. You want to listen to them. What fears do they have? You'll be surprised, some of them are already using it. You see some of them that will talk to you about how they're using it, how it can be beneficial. Just brainstorm together and think of how you can, use AI to automate your processes. You want to make it a joint effort.
Exactly.
And that's amazing. Well, our time is really, really fast spent. Okay, I don't know why my screen is jumping up and down. Okay, so I put some links in the chat, which are the links for the eLearning Designers Hub. We have our LinkedIn page. Do well to join. Okay, I think this is my own LinkedIn page. Okay, once you get there, you're going to see the eLearning Designers page, and then you can follow us on LinkedIn. We have Facebook group where we put all the resources from the workshops that we do. We have the WhatsApp page where we disseminate information easily about things. We have the YouTube channel and all. So do well to follow us. And then our next meeting is going to be the first Thursday of March. We have this webinar every first Thursday of the month, and we're going to have the March session. I think it's 7th of March, but the date will be communicated to us once we're in the group. Our workshops, we have a workshop, eLearning development workshop every month. Last week, we did scenario-based learning development using Genially, which is a very interactive tool. And these are the things that we learn. Everything that I've mentioned earlier about what we are doing in terms of the conference coming up and the other things, the mentee mentoring program that we are starting. This is for anyone that is interested in their own self-development. We're going to pair you up with people that have achieved what you want to achieve. What's your personal development goal? We have to get someone who is already doing well in that area that can hold you by the hand and guide you to be able to move forward in your career. So once again, I want everybody to thank Binnaz in the chat. Just say something nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and giving us all this information. We really, really, really appreciate you.
It's a pleasure.
And we'll say thank you. We hope you will come again if we invite you to come and speak to us about something else.
Whatever you wish for.
Thank you
Just
so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So everyone is saying hello. They're saying thank you in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So this is where we'll wrap things up and say good evening to everyone. Have a wonderful evening. And I know tomorrow is Friday, but enjoy your weekend, enjoy tomorrow and have a lovely weekend as well.
Exactly.
And a wonderful month. This is the first day of February. Have a great month ahead. Thank you so much.
Brilliant month ahead. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.